Welcome to the 12-Day Cleanse Masterclass. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm excited to help you and support you on your health journey. I actually call this the Friends Cleanse because oftentimes people invite a friend to do this with them. Hopefully you have one. If you don't, perhaps you're part of a group. If you're not part of a group, I'm here to support you. So no matter what support you have around you, I know that you will be successful. This is just the beginning of a new and fresh start for you. I just want to make sure that you understand that this program does not diagnose or treat any medical conditions. Please make sure to consult with your doctor about any drugs that you might be using or any contraindications to this program. Thank you for making sure to understand that this is not a substitute or replacement for any medical advice. Take a moment and consider what healthy really means to you personally. It doesn't have to fit into the box of what other people might think. This is what really matters to you. It might be as simple as having a better aesthetic. It might mean having better energy, better habits and routines. You take a moment to decide what it is that determines your success. It's incredibly personal and it's incredibly important in the process. Finding your strategy means taking into account not only the science, but your personal preferences, as well as not problems, but potential areas of growth. Everyone has things that feel like barriers in their lives. But if we look at those barriers and we look at them as possibilities for growth, we may find unexpected solutions in exciting places and find a new lifestyle or just an upgraded lifestyle because of it. One of the most important things to me as your coach is to help you find a lifestyle, and that exists somewhere in between doing everything and doing nothing. And it's really important for us to explore the edges of everything and nothing. Perhaps you've never gotten to a place where you've done nothing, but everyone has explored places where they don't feel like they're doing enough. And a program like this really lives more on an extreme of the everything, trying all the things. And what's neat about it is it's an opportunity for you to see how you feel, see what your preferences are over on this edge of the spectrum, and then perhaps walk backwards from there and find your lifestyle. For some people, walking backwards from there is not that far off of the everything spectrum, and for other people, they come more into a middle place. And my job is to try to help you figure out what that sweet spot is. Exploring the edges, meaning exploring nothingness and exploring everything, means that we really have this full understanding of where we can go, and then finding that sweet spot of the lifestyle is the next goal. So I'm excited for you to explore kind of this extreme edge and see what comes out of it. So I want you to be thinking about ultimately the end goal is your lifestyle. You're going to be getting through the first couple days of the cleanse, just trying to follow the protocol. But at some point here, you're going to start thinking about, what do I want to do next after this is over? And one of the things that's really important to consider while you're doing the cleanse is what you're going to do when life events happen. What do all these life events have in common is a question I like to ask people, because for me, they really do have one thing in common. They all make you feel like this, right? But truly, what you really need in these situations is strategy, intentionality, creativity. You need to be able to adjust. You need to be truly capable of restructuring what it is that feels like success. You can't exactly do everything perfectly when you're traveling. It's a huge challenge. So trying to be able to find a margin or a buffer is really important. And what it truly requires is flexibility. So maybe not this kind of flexibility, but flexibility is really the key to sustainable long-term change. And as we do this plan, I want you to be thinking about what things do you want to keep doing? What things do you want to stop? What things are you learning to love? What things do you definitely hate? It's an exciting opportunity to consider all kinds of habits that you want to incorporate, or maybe it brings out a excitement for even other things that you want to test. Speaking of things that we're going to test, we are going to go off the plan one time in this 12 days. And the reason that I insist on it is to help address two types of people. One is the type of person who is going to do everything to a T or try to do it perfectly. And the idea of them not being perfect is literally mind-blowing to them. The other person that I want to try to help is a person who really has never tried to show any type of restraint or doesn't know how to have any type of parameters around, let's say, a meal out. So this challenge meal challenges both types of person to try to break up their ideas of what they have to do. One person thinks they have to do everything. One person thinks they can't do anything. And for both people, we're going to try to do this challenge meal and see that you're going to be just fine. It really does not affect your results, and that's really exciting. So it's something that you can continue to try to use on a regular basis. A lot of people will say that that was their favorite thing about the cleanse, is that they did the challenge meal and they realized that having some parameters was really helpful, and yet it was really helpful to know that they got to have this meal once a week and it really wouldn't cause them to backslide at all. So the flyer kind of explains itself, but just to go over it, it's a 2-hour window. The meal, you're going to choose from 2 of the 4 categories: gluten, dairy, alcohol, sugar. So the examples outline for you how to make that work. We can talk about it when we do a check-in. I'm excited to see how it helps you grow and what you discover from it. The biggest challenge and most exciting growth opportunity that I want to ask you to consider including on this cleanse is elevating your perspective on how you approach change. Moving from, I have to do this, I have to lose weight, I have to be healthier, I have to make changes. Moving from that to choosing, saying, I choose to do this, I want to do this, I desire to do this more than that, is the next level of elevated thinking. But ultimately, if I could get everyone to say, I prefer salmon and asparagus over pizza. I prefer to feel this way so much that I no longer even think about XYZ. One way of adopting this type of mindset and really getting into this level of thinking is to make your statements about your life in the present tense as if you already are doing them. So saying, I prefer salmon and asparagus, I prefer salmon and asparagus, saying it out loud and repeating it as if it is true will help you to truly embrace it and will make it real, will also activate the pattern finders in your brainstem, and you will not only see opportunities, more opportunities for better choices, but more opportunities for better choices will come to you. It's kind of like when you decide that you really, really want a particular car and then suddenly you just see that car everywhere. That's what's happening here. When we decide in present tense what we really prefer, we will actually find more opportunities to take action on those steps in our life. I promise we're going to get into the details of the actual plan here shortly. Before we do that, I want to talk to you about what really helps to deeply motivate people. And that is finding out why you want to do this. What is it? What need will be met by following through on this plan and the changes that will accompany doing this plan? So I want you to ask yourself, what do you want? If it's to lose weight, if it's to have more energy, just kind of think about that for a moment. And then answer this question, what will that do for your life? Think about how you'll feel. Think about how you will react to other people. What will happen if you get what you want? And then ask yourself again, then what will happen? Keep asking yourself, what will that do for my life? Then what will happen? Keep going. And the discovery of your answer, your final answer, should fall into a spectrum of meeting certain specific needs. These are the specific needs that I'm referring to. They are based off of Tony Robbins' research and teachings. And when I discovered them, they were incredibly profound to help me not only listen to others, but listen to myself and discover, what is it that I really want? What is it that other people really want? And how is that grounded in a deep-seated need? So to go over these really quickly, there are 4 foundational needs, and now those are security and adventure. They are significance and connection. You can see that they're kind of on opposite sides of this diagram. Those are the foundational needs. Security refers to needing things like a roof over your head, needing consistency, needing a good schedule, needing habits. Adventure is the desire to get out, to do more, to have interesting things happen in your life. Significance is about feeling successful, is about striving for things. Connection is really about love and understanding, connection to people. Once those 4 foundational needs are met, then we have the opportunity to go further, to stretch ourselves for acts of service or to draw into ourselves for deep personal growth. So as you're listening, as we did this last exercise, as you're listening to yourself answer questions about what you want, the desire is that you would find that need in there. If you need more help discovering what that is, I would love to chat more with you about it. To summarize, what I want to say is that habits grounded in healthy mindsets and that are connected deeply to your personal needs have lasting power. They have lasting power and they help give you a buffer in times of need. I didn't have much buffer when I was watching my sister Liz suffer and the years after her death. I literally feel like my body and my mind fell apart. And these tools have been slowly acquired, grown, and been practiced over the years on myself and with others to help give us this opportunity to stick with what we really want, and to feel the way that we need to feel, and to give us a template for adjusting when we need to adjust. So I'm excited to talk to you more about how this mindfulness portion of the program helps give you perspective and opportunities for growth and change in your habits and accomplishing your goals. It's time to get into the nitty-gritty of what we're going to go over to actually follow this 12-day plan. So we're going to go over some ideas and thoughts about inflammation and digestion, as well as specific plan types and why they're appropriate for certain people. Learning that will help you to really discern the purpose of the type of plan that you receive, because everyone is a little bit different. And then we're going to talk about some lifestyle strategies to help you not only just accomplish the 12 days with success, but lifestyle strategies that you may want to consider carrying into the phases that occur after the cleanse is over. This program is designed to help the body reduce inflammation, especially inflammation oriented around digestive processes and nutrition. You can see from this diagram that it's all connected. How we absorb nutrients, how we digest food, what we crave. There's a connection there to inflammation that is undeniable and is so easy to help knock down the effects of inflammation through healthy food choices, healthy mindsets, and the way that we move. We want to use time-tested and true strategies when it comes to reducing inflammation and supporting digestion. Hot lemon water first thing in the morning is the best way to start the day. Grabbing an organic lemon wedge, pouring hot water over it. If you can't stand the hot water and lemon, you can do it cold. But a big glass of water at the start of the day with lemon really helps to prepare the digestive properties in the mouth, helps alkalize the body, and lemon is one of the most powerful detoxifiers in the body, especially for estrogen. And we have estrogenic compounds all over our environment. It's just a simple way of starting the day and is often a favorite of many cleansers, something they continue doing long term. The next cog in the wheel is Restore Liquid and Nasal Spray, and this is just kind of a placeholder for us for further discussion. If you would like to talk about how to utilize a product to give you support, it's not something I sell, it's something you can order on Amazon, but it really helps for people who have allergies, who have really stuffy sinuses, and have a lot of issues oriented around their gut, who have very sensitive guts. This product really helps to repair the tight junctions in the gut, and it's something that I love to have people add in if they think it's a good fit or a need for them. Next is bone broth, and this is something we're going to do every night. I just had a client this week who said that the idea of drinking broth totally grossed her out, so she's going to throw some carrots and celery in her broth. So she's going to have an evening cup of soup every night. That's fine. You can do that too. Broth is an ancient remedy. It's used all over the world For every ailment that you can imagine, it is the first thing that people consume when they've been incredibly ill. And when I say it's an ancient remedy, it's because literally just that. Boiling bones and all of the benefits that come from the digestive system, from the collagen, from the elastin, the healing properties in broth is incredible. There are entire diets surrounding around broth as the foundational element. So I want to encourage you to try this, see how it makes you feel. A lot of times it's very filling and comforting at night after dinner. But other people put it in a thermos mug and sip on it just like you would a cup of soup. So you can buy it and you can make it. It's not hard to make, but it's even easier to buy. Just organic bone broth. You can season it and salt it. It does not have to taste bad. I designed this food list to help you discover where foods belong categorically, not just by what they're made up of, but by what they do. So on this plan, when it says to have a vegetable, that might be a starchy vegetable. That might be this quantity of starchy vegetables. So you can choose one unit of vegetables. Could be anything from a quarter cup of sweet potatoes to a full or unlimited portion of any of these items. So one unit, your plan might have one unit of it. That's what this sheet is quantifying. This is one unit of any of those things. But if it says 2, then you would double it. So that would be 2 ounces of chicken. That would be 2 whole eggs. So you are welcome to choose what you eat. It's just the how much that's going to be more specific in your plan. One of the important functions also of quantifying your foods is when we talked about that more specific, detailed plan, balancing your macronutrients in a certain way can help you to feel a certain way, usually feel more energetic, feel more satisfied, more nourished, and that's something we want to discover and take note of as we go through the steps of this plan. One of the benefits to categorizing your foods is that allows you to be more specific and detail-oriented around rotating your foods. So food rotation is a hugely important principle when it comes to reducing inflammation, when it comes to reducing boredom, and when it comes to planning and preparing successfully your meals for the week. So I'm just demonstrating in a really simple diagram here how to perhaps choose chicken and salmon one week and then fish and bison the next week for your proteins, choosing these vegetables, broccoli and green beans, and then cauliflower and asparagus. So these foods being the foundation of your meal planning one week, you would change the next week. So trying not to eat the same thing all the time is a key component of reducing inflammation that I discovered when I was working with food allergy screens, people spending thousands and thousands of dollars on food allergy screens. And the practical piece of, I guess, the golden nugget of information that came out of it was we could very simply trick people's systems into out of their food sensitivities by simply rotating their foods on a weekly basis. It didn't have to be that they eliminated their food for entire months at a time. Just a simple weekly rotation was a powerful tool. But as I mentioned earlier, it's also helpful to reduce boredom, and it's also helpful to plan and prepare that way because you're using up what you have, you're using it in different ways, But with food rotation, we also have an element of a lack of waste. So there's a lot of benefits to trying to implement this as a habit into your life, and a lot of reasons to test it starting on this cleanse. Foods that we are completely eliminating are out of these primary categories. I clumped them together for specific reasons, and it's because gluten, corn, soy are typically highly processed foods connected to a lot of chemicals, and in our country, our society tend to be very inflammatory for people. They tend to not digest well, and when we take them out of the diet, people suddenly feel better. Now, it doesn't mean you have to take it out forever. It's something you can add back in and see how you feel. That's a question when you say to yourself, how do I want to feel? Does changing this habit help me to feel more the way that I want to, and what do I prefer? So this doesn't have to be a forever thing, but these are categories of elimination for the length of the 12-day cleanse, except for on your challenge meal. Remember the challenge meal. Now, your plan, your meal timing, your units of proteins, vegetables, starches, fats, etc., will be determined by your measures. So you are either going to send me measures done by a tape measure and a scale weight, or I'm going to do a body signature assessment on you in person. The final thing that's going to determine your plan is your lifestyle, your schedule, your preferences, what's going on in your life, what your doctor has said. All those things are going to be taken into account. So I'm looking forward to working with you on your specific plan and helping to figure out how that fits into your life and the lifestyle that you want. People always ask me, what kind of diet is this? And the kind of plan that it is completely determined by you. So I'm just going to quick go over a couple of the types of ways that this plan might look for you, just to give you education on what it could mean when you get to your spreadsheet. So the first thing that I really want to point out on this is that there are columns here, and each column is representing a 2 to 3 hour window. So for this person, they are missing this, what I would say, meal in the day. So they're having their first meal, then they're having a 4 to 6 hour time period, then they're having their next 2 to 3 hour period, their next 2 to 3 hour period, their next 2 to 3 hour period. So really this would be what I would call a breakfast snack. This is lunch, this is snack, this, and then we have dinner. So that's really what it looks like. This zone plan is one where macronutrients are balanced. So that's all that a zone plan means. If you have a zone plan, I can tell you about your zone plan. I can call your plan by a specific name, but really your plan is just determined by your assessment. So let's go over a couple more plans. This is what a ketogenic plan would look like. This is where we have a high amount of fat compared to protein and carbohydrate intake. A lot of times ketogenic plans have some type of fasting element in them as well. I wrote a lot of these types of plans when I worked in a clinical setting with cancer patients, with patients who were working to deal with serious blood sugar issues. Some people just prefer to try a ketogenic plan, and I'm open to hearing what your preferences are. But truly, again, your assessment will determine what your body needs and what would work best for its needs as well. This is referred to as a carb cycling protocol. This is a great long-term lifestyle plan that works really well for a lot of people, where they are able to feed themselves pretty clean and pretty balanced, but every couple days they have what we call a carb up. So 3 times a week, 2 times a week, they have a starchier meal, and that sort of helps fill up their carbohydrate stores, and then work to be lower carb other days of the week. This works really great for the chronically stressed. It sort of teaches your body that you are not running from a bear on a neuroenergetic level. Again, this is something that a lot of people move into, and tends to be a great lifestyle plan, and one that would be part of sometimes part of a long-term discussion. So again, your assessment is what determines your plan. This is an intermittent fast protocol. Again, this is one that I did a lot in a clinical setting by doctors' recommendations, helping this become something livable for people. This is where you can see the columns representing time periods. There's no meal for what we would consider that breakfast and snack kind of sections of the day. So this person is really not starting to eat until maybe noon or 1 o'clock, and then fitting most of their meals in about a 5 to 6 hour period. This is something that can be a lifestyle plan for a lot of people, 3 or 4 days a week. Intermittent fasting has a lot of very wonderful benefits, but it's not for everybody. There is no plan that works for everyone, and that's why it's great to have a custom plan. Finally, we're going to look at the full spreadsheet. This is what your actual cleanse plan will look like. So on the top of this spreadsheet, we really have what is happening in the food categories. And then down the left column is your supplements that come in the 12-day cleanse kit, the Garden for Life 12-day cleanse kit. So we take 2 capsules of each of 3 bottles out of the cleanse kit for breakfast, and then again for dinner. And then we take 3 droppers full as you can squeeze it, of a herbal extract in water, and you take that as kind of like a shot. So the gray line in the middle is representing the distinction between the food and the supplements. So below are the supplements, and above are the food in the plan. The lemon water and the broth are also in this in the supplement area. And what I want to point out about this plan that's specific to the cleanse is that in the lunch slot for everyone is going to be how to make your smoothie, what goes into your once a day smoothie. So there's going to be 1 scoop of powder. There's going to be a certain amount of spinach or kale. So greens here, it's pretty common that everyone has a certain 1 scoop of protein, a certain amount of greens. Everyone has a kind of a different amount of almond butter that goes in, or nut butter that goes into the smoothie, a cup of berries. And then finally, you're going to be having a cup of an unsweetened coconut milk or almond milk added into your smoothie, and that's highlighted over here in the supplement section. So your smoothie always goes into the lunch time of day, but if you want to test consuming your smoothie at a different time of day, you can. So let's say that you're out to work and you're very, very busy, then a smoothie might be great, or you have a ton of meetings and it's hard to get your eating in, or you're traveling, or you really love to have your hot meal first thing in the day. That's something that I love to have people test out is, can you make the time to have a warm breakfast every day? So This specific person's plan has literally just a snack kind of in the morning, and then they don't really start eating a larger meals till the second part of the day. So just pointing out the unique components of this individual person's plan. Your plan is going to look specific to you, and you will have questions on that, and I will help you with them. So just looking over this sheet one last time, remember these gray columns represent 2 to 3 hour periods of time. Each column represents a 2 to 3 hour period of time. The units, how much food you are going to be eating, is going to be in the plan. Whoa, this has to be an error. Look at that. The 8 units of broccoli. I didn't notice that before. That would be a lot of cups of broccoli for that person. So you're going to be recognizing when you get your plan how it lays out. If you have questions, all you have to do is ask. Along with your specific custom plan for the 12-day cleanse, I will send you a few materials. The first one is a food rotation shopping list. It's an outline of what it would look like if you didn't eat the same thing for 3 weeks in a row. A lot of times people will condense that down to a week 1, week 2 rotation. You can just use it as a template to help guide you and help test to see if that's a tool that you'll want to use long term. With that is the week 1 of that food rotation shopping list. I have broken down step by step how to do a meal prep for that week 1 rotation. Now, there might not be foods that you like on that list, and that's okay. Just use it as a guide. Use it as a template to help you work from. And then finally, I'm going to be sending you a list of my Simple 7 recipes. The idea with Simple 7 is there's no more than 7 ingredients or steps in the process of making any of the one things. It's kind of an a la carte oriented recipe list. So there's proteins, there's veggies, there's desserts and dips, things like that. So I hope you enjoy those tools. They will be attached, as I said, to your plan when you get it. Sometimes people feel like when they start a plan like this, it takes a lot of time for them to implement the protocol. But I hope that you'll see as you work through the next 12 days that spending a little bit of time preparing ahead actually saves you time. That when you have things packed and cooked and prepped, that it saves you time and saves you stress ultimately in the long term. I want to thank you for entrusting me with your time and your energy and your money. I look forward to seeing how that investment comes back to benefit you in the long term. These next 12 days should be very exciting, full of lots of lessons. I look forward to our first follow-up and to our final follow-up, making sure that you are making progress. And I look forward to seeing what happens after that. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will be in touch. Thank you.